as many of you probably have in this space, whether you're freelance, self-employed, or looking to move into some form of self-employment, you will have almost certainly gone down the rabbit hole of looking at ways of productivity. How can you optimize your productivity? How can you be more productive in your daily output? What can you do to maximize your time and efforts to get the most results for those? So I've done the same, and I've been down all those routes, read all the books, spoke to lots of colleagues and mentors, etc., for their advice. One thing I would say, absolutely for sure, productivity is personal. What works for one person may not work for another. What works for me may not work for you. So the best thing to find that out, of course, is to test and trial different things. So what I'm going to introduce you today is the pomodoro technique. Now, you may have come across this already, but no harm in a refresh. And if you have, then share it with somebody who you think this could find this useful. The pomodoro technique is based on a timer, and actually it's a tomato timer, hence the pomodoro name. And it's for 25 minutes. You work focused in the zone, getting into flow for 25 minutes. After that period, the timer would go off, and then you spend 5 minutes on a break. That can be taking a little walk, having a little stretch, literally just taking a moment to relax. Anything that is taking your mind off the task that you were doing, just for 5 minutes and refresh. Don't use that 5 minutes to get into your email or check your Slack or whatever, or check your messages or social media, because as we all know, that can then lead off to, before you know it, an hour gone on those things. So use the 5 minutes to relax, the buzzer will go off, and you get back into the flow of the next 25 minutes. You tend to do these Pomodoros maybe 3 or 4 back to back. So that's about an hour and a half, 2 hours worth of work. And that's generally how much time we can spend on any period in terms of getting into deep work, as they say. Now, you don't have to adhere to the 25 and 5, because sometimes you may be in such a flow that you feel like, oh, I'm in the flow, and then I'm getting this buzzer to take some time relaxing. So you can adapt the timer to suit you, whether that can be 45 and 5, 50 and 10, etc. But the concept being that you commit for this period of time. And that's what I think the big strength of it I found is that mentally you can say, right, I'm going to commit to focus for this period of time, because I know there comes an ending and I get a small reward in the sense of a little break. So you can more comfortably do that. Whereas if you just sit yourself down and say, right, I'm going to do this task, which almost is never ending in terms of time, that can be more difficult and where you can procrastinate, in my experience. As I say, productivity is personal. Test these things out. But if you haven't tried the Pomodoro technique, I'd highly recommend it. There's several tools. If you just Google Pomodoro timer or tracker, there's several online tools you can use which act as this timer, so you can set them in the background and you get a notification after that 25-minute period is expired. And yeah, give it a test, see if it works for you. I found it's been a massive boon to my productivity. It was actually recommended by one of my clients. I'd read it in a few books and come across it, but never actually properly utilized it. And now there's no looking back. So there you go, Pomodoro technique, give it a shot, and hopefully it'll help your productivity.